deserve the love that you so freely give to others. Why is that such a profound statement? I like to think it's because we usually wait for catastrophe to strike before we take care of who and what matters most, ourselves. I was raised by genius, strong, resilient, beautiful, amazing women. My grandmothers, Warner, Diana Jean, Beverly Ann, my aunties, my mother, my sister friends. I was raised by these amazing women, and they showed me and they taught me so many things. They taught me with their actions more than they taught me with their words. And then what our family taught me about these women was that they were the cornerstone of our family. Our world spun because they were our sun and we were on their orbit. And that we'd probably be hungry or not have clean clothes because of them. I watched my grandmothers raise myself, on my father's side, raise myself and my cousins so that their children could pursue a career and a life and establish well-being and life for their own children. And then I watched my grandmother, my Mimi in Western Kansas, who after having her own miracle baby, because she had polio, went on to adopt an African-American baby and a Mexican-American baby in the 1960s in Western Kansas and hold down the household while her husband maintained a farm. So I come from strength. And then my mama, who raised 2 children, a beautiful little boy with ADHD and a bad but rebellious teenage girl, real strong-willed. Hi, Mama. And they taught me so many things, but the one thing that they also taught me outside of survival was that they lived so often beyond their breaking point. They were tired, and I have this inherited generational exhaustion that absolutely has to be addressed. So as I navigate my life, I was a young mother to 2 beautiful children, and I navigated and got through and was victorious in really tumultuous and crappy relationships. And then I decided, well, I gotta be educated, and I put myself through school because I know what my matriarchs taught me. I learned also how to live real well in the breaking point. Then I was 29 years old with a dope job. Last TED Talk, had the dope job. And I was making impact, traveling, networking, momming on all cylinders, right? And then I was coming in from a work trip, and I went to settle in with my kiddos and make them dinner, get them ready for the next day, because, we don't stop. And I had to stop in my tracks because I'm seeing stars. I got a pain in my chest and I cannot breathe. And then I go to the ER, only after driving my babies to their grandparents' house and then driving myself to the ER because I'm an independent woman and I don't need nobody, right? So I get there and I think I'm having a heart attack. I'm 29 years old. And I'm sitting there looking at IVs in my arm, staring down, waiting for the doctor to give me results on an EKG, looking at my work email, looking at my calendar and all the things we have to do for the week. And then it hits me, what happens if something happens to me? See, there's this thing among women, especially women of color, and it is self-care is selfish, and it is absolutely not the case. Self-care is vital and absolutely necessary for your survival. So my doctor tells me, hey, take it easy. You should take it easy. You should try not to work so much. I didn't listen, and I started doing some research, and as a mental health educator, as an advocate, as a mom, as a sister, as a niece, as a cousin, started doing some research, and I found that the CDC still has heart disease as the leading #1 killer in women as of 2015, and guess what? I lost my beautiful, beloved Mimi, who was my superhero, the lady that adopted 2 babies and had more diversity in her house in Western Kansas than the nation. Her. She died from heart failure and complications of heart disease 24 years ago at the age of 61. So Erica has to step back and say, okay, we got to do something different. Did a little bit more research. I also deal with depression and anxiety. I was diagnosed with those at 13 and 19. And I look at my sisters and I see the struggle that women of color have with saying something when it comes to their mental health. And then I also have to figure out, I see that in research that women as young as 18 are coming up with premenopausal conditions and co-occurring disorders mentally. We have a problem, ladies. Self-care is not selfish. It is absolutely vital to your survival because you deserve the love that you so freely give to others. Now, you're looking at me and saying, Erica, I don't have time for self-care. I'm not going to no masseuse. I don't know if I'm allergic to the stuff that they put on you. I don't know where to begin. And that's cool. That's why we're here. Okay, so I got 4 things for you. We're going to start with 1. Acknowledge your body. You remember that relationship you got in? And you couldn't wait to hear their voice. You couldn't wait to figure out their pet peeves. You couldn't wait to figure out, what their favorite cereal was, what their favorite color was, what made them tick, what made them, light up. You wanted to know everything about this partner or best friend of yours. I need you to do the same thing with your body. Because your body's gonna tell on you, okay? Your body's gonna tell on you because so often we manifest symptoms in our body as a reaction to emotional and mental concerns and stressors before you even recognize that you're still dealing with grief from 20 years ago. So acknowledge your body, create that intimacy, create that acknowledgement, that jump within your body. Next, assess that headache that you've had for a while. Do you need Tylenol? Do you need to call your doctor? Do you need to put your phone on airplane mode? Do you need a nap? Or do you need all of the above? Because that's okay too. Assess what it is that you need. Act. Act on it. You have everything that you need to be okay, to do what it is that you need to do to survive and more than anything, thrive. Just like you acknowledge that message and email from your boss after hours, just like you grab the snacks down from the countertop for that toddler that has bothered you for the 1,500th time about the snacks, just like you are chasing after and pursuing your education and you're taking 18 hours and on good and well you are a non-traditional student and a whole functioning adult and you writing this paper at 1 like you ain't got a full life in the morning, just like you act on these things, I need you to act on what it is that you need for you. Next, accountability. Let's see if I can get it right this time. I'm so sorry. Are we not? Can you put the video up? Thank you. That's my baby boy, Noah Cole, calling his mommy out during a Facebook Live for July, which is Minority Mental Health Month, in which I'm talking about the emotion of hangry, and as you can see, he could barely hold his peace. And he says she's the one to talk because she don't even eat breakfast. So, accountability, that's the next piece to this. Accountability. One of the things that we've gone through in my family and seeing to break this cycle and break this chain of exhaustion and lacking in care for yourself is to be accountable. Make sure that you have people around you that can call you out lovingly or not so lovingly, and you can, have a dialogue or if you don't want to talk about it, because I know so many women sit back and they say, I don't really know how to say when I need help. Have people around you create. We use emojis in my household. Let's see. This is my son's emoji. When he needs to get away from me and his sister, donut. I'm going to go play. I'm going to go outside. Nope, I'm not doing it with y'all two. Bless his heart, right? My daughter, she just is so blatant. This is it. This is, Mom, I'm done. Tapping out. Tapping out here. And then that's how I know that I'm creating in my children emotional wellness and intelligence. And I'm so grateful to my matriarchs that even though they went through things and they had their strength and they probably definitely lacked the rest portion, and that's where they definitely suffered in their physical bodies, I have the tools and I can articulate and I have the resources to break that chain in my children. And I hope and pray that you do the same for yourself. So now that we have some ground rules or some foundations for self-care, because it is not selfish, make sure that you acknowledge your body, assess what it is that you need, act on it, and then make sure you have people in your life to hold you accountable, because you deserve, and you deserve, you deserve, and you deserve the love that you so freely give to you.